Hi guys, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be having a look at this Asus ROG Phone 7. And I have to say, this was one of the most interesting unboxing. It came in a fancy box like this, but I just didn't want you guys to just show the unboxing. I'll show you the highlights, but I also wanted to give you an idea about the phone. How does it perform? So I've started using it, and it's been about 3 odd days since I've been actually using this smartphone. So I'll also talk about the experience. So this comes in this very fancy box. I'll show you what all comes inside that. In fact, this is the ultimate edition. It comes in 2 versions. One is the regular one, and this is the ultimate. The ultimate comes only in this white color, whereas the regular one comes in the regular black color or the white color. I would say in terms of colors, I like the regular black color one compared to this one. But in the ultimate, we also do get this Aero Cooler 7, the latest version in the box. In fact, though this phone is also compatible with the older Aero 7, the Aero 6 cooler. I'll link it in the description. YouTube has started this where we can link it, so I'll link that. So that's what we get. But again, in terms of operations, again, this is a very fast phone. Comes with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 and also has all the bells and whistles that you expect with the ROG phone. In fact, I also have put in my main SIM in this one, that is the Airtel SIM, and again, I'm getting the 5G connection on this. 5G works flawlessly. It worked without out of the box. In fact, I did quite a bit of speed test also. If you look at the results, these are all the 5G speed tests that I've done. And again, this is a slightly remote area, guys, and here also, though, I'm getting speeds between about 300 megabit to almost about close to about 400 megabit on this Airtel 5G. And I have actually started using Airtel 5G a little bit more, because right now we have this introductory 5G unlimited offer. So if you are having a Airtel 5G SIM, for that unlimited offer, go to that Airtel Thanks app and just enroll into that offer. Again, very similar to the regular ROG Phone 6 in terms of looks. I would say it has this in-display fingerprints, kind of very responsive. Of course, AMOLED screen that we are having, it's a 6.7 inch full HD plus, and the refresh rate can go up to 165 hertz. Yes, not 120, not 144, 165 hertz. And you can set it to 144, 165 watt. I've kept it to 144. Again, as you can see, it's running very smoothly. Again, one big difference is that the regular version that will be sold in India, that will come with 12 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM with 256 gigabytes of storage, again UFS 4 storage, whereas the ultimate edition, what I have is going to come with 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5X RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. I don't know the exact India pricing, but I think so the regular one will be closer to the last generation of ROG phones, so somewhere around 70 to 75,000. This will be significantly more, because yeah, this is having that 512 gigabytes of RAM, 16 GB of RAM, and you also get this Aero Cooler in the box. What I'll do is, when I know the pricing and all this information, I'll add that in the description so that you can check it out. Again, this is a chunky phone, I would say, but again, it has all the bells and whistles. In fact, in terms of hardware, to the specs, this has one of the most top-notch, hardware specs for Android smartphone. Again, as I've told you, the display is very good. Again, the front is actually Gorilla Glass Victus, whereas the back is Gorilla Glass 3. On the Ultimate, this part is also the display. You can actually enable that if you go to the Armory crate. Again, speakers are so loud on this one. In fact, always the ROG phones had one of the loudest speakers. Here, in fact, it gives a little bit more bass also. Anyways, if I go here and if I go down, I can enable the ROG Vision if I want, and the ROG Vision is enabled. Again, in terms of speakers, I have to say, I didn't expect that they could improve the speakers, but the speakers performance is much better, slightly better. In fact, it has a little bit of bass. In fact, if you pair it with this one, this also has built-in speakers, a small subwoofer, and they call this setup, if you use this one, a 2.1 setup. I thought it was a marketing gimmick, but when I put this one and I played the games and played music, oh my god, the sound output is amazing. I would say it's just cheating. Adding this one is like a mini speaker that you have added to the smartphone. But nevertheless, just with the smartphone also, the speakers are very good, because these are actually front-firing speakers. But one con is that because of this front-firing speaker, if I open Twitter, it does have that thick bezels at the top and the bottom here, as you can see. If I zoom in a little bit, you will notice that. Again, this panel is actually much brighter than the older ROG Phone 6. This can go in peak brightness up to 1500 nits. So even even when I was using outdoors, it was a good experience. So again, we do have that thick chin over here up and the bottom, and that's, I think so, because of the speakers, the chamber they had to put. But again, one thing I noticed is that this smartphone still has the physical LED notification light. If you have used a BlackBerry or something like that, that is there. I appreciate it. But again, they should have reduced the bezels at the top, at the bottom, I would say. That's my only nitpicking, I would say, on this one. The fingerprint, in-display fingerprint scanner, very responsive. In terms of processing power also, again, no compromise whatsoever. In fact, I ran some benchmarks, and this is Geekbench 6. Again, if you notice, the single core that we got is 1964, and for multi-core 5360. This is again one of the best that I've seen on any Android smartphone. In fact, I also ran Antutu, and there I got a massive score of 1.34 million, which is again the best that I've seen on any Android smartphone. Again, I did those tests with this X mode. You have this X mode where it enhances the phone for the best performance. I did those benchmarks on that. Coming to cooling also, I feel the cooling also is done very well on this phone. It has layers and layers of extra cooling. Graphite layer is there on this one, and as you can see with this image, in terms of cooling, again, they have actually increased the surface area on this one. So in terms of usage while using the phone, I did not notice any heating issues on this one. In fact, even with gaming, it was not getting hot. But I also used this Aero Cooler 7 on this one. In fact, you mount it like this. The bottom portion goes like this, and the top you press it, and it will actually detect. Once it is done, it detected, gave me haptic feedback, Aero Cooler active, and it gives the temperature also, how much cooling is there, and immediately this fan actually starts rotating. Not only that, it cools the device from the back. And I would say this is not required for regular casual users or something, if you just game for 30-40, but again, if you're sort of a hardcore gamer, play more than 1 hour continuously or something like that, and you want the highest FPS all the time, then maybe you should invest in this one. The added advantage is that, again, as I've told you, it has built-in woofers and speakers, so the bass output increase significantly. You also have extra 4 physical triggers also in this. Another thing that they have added is that it cools from the back. You can notice the air, but even from this front here on the screen also, it actually outputs a little bit of air, so it keeps the phone very cool. And again, if you just another thing is that this also has a kickstand like this. If you can just put it like this, and you can place the phone like this for enjoying multi content tablets. So again, a nice option, and you just press this button to release this, and it detects that. So again, a pretty cool accessory. And while actually you're gaming, this one also glows like typical gaming phone, and looks pretty cool. My daughter actually liked it. So in terms of performance, I would say the performance is really good on this smartphone. And again, in terms of hardware also, it's very good. I also like that the fact that still Asus is keeping it pretty close to stock Android. Not a lot of bloatware apart from that Armory crate and some gaming specific apps. They haven't loaded junkware or anything. As my primary SIM was also on this smartphone, I did take quite a bit of cellular calls on this one, and I have to say I did not have any proximity sensor issue whatsoever on this smartphone, and the earpiece quality is also super good. So if you take long calls also, then you will like this phone. That way, I would say in terms of usability, again, you have to get used to the weight. It's a heavy phone. It's about 239 grams or something like that. But once you get used to that, I would say in terms of usability, again, it was very usable. I would say I did not notice any bugs or anything. Memory management, as expected, was very good. Now let me quickly just show you what comes inside the box. As I've told you, we do get this Aero Cooler also. This we get only in the Ultimate edition. In the regular edition, this is sold as a separate accessory, guys. So again, this is pretty cool. When you open this up, actually you can play a game. This you place your phone on this one. I'll show you that later. Pretty interesting. So the packaging was very interesting for a change, I would say. We also get a bumper case on this, a plastic case. I've taken it out. I've just kept it out. So you do get a bumper plastic case on this one within the box. So I like that. That was inside this. And your Aero Cooler was actually inside this one. And we also have a case to carry it if you want. Moving to the charger on this one, this is a PD charger that they have supplied, USB Type-C to Type-C cable, and this is just a 30-watt charger, though the smartphone does support fast charging up to 65 watts. So here I feel Asus India did a little bit of cost cutting. I would say they should have bundled the 65-watt charger. I did charge this phone with the 65-watt PD charger that I had for a laptop, and it charged very quickly. Again, now to give you an idea about this one, again, this is you get if you're buying the ultimate version, and you have some buttons over here. And first you set up the phone, you will see this. So this it shows you how to just actually in the ultimate. We have done this, and we hit continue, and these are the buttons, and it says it detects that it's connected. So you can just press engine start. These are interactive buttons that it has. So let's press this engine start, and as you can see, it interacts with the smartphone. So a cool touch, I would say, for unboxing. They didn't have to do all this, but they did it, I would say. Again, this is only for the ultimate version. You don't get this case in the regular version. Okay, destination if you press, and again it says the gyro. It's going to use the gyro, and it also has this 8 triggers. So basically this quick game or demo is for giving you an idea about the, again it's using gyro to move, to give ideas. So again, I would say very cool introduction and overboard for a unboxing, I would say. So anyways, I'll just keep that to the side, and of course I'll just quit this. We do have the 8 triggers, ultrasonic 8 triggers on this one, like earlier ROG phones, and you have 9 different actions towards that. And again, if you are pairing with this Aero Active Air Cooler, you also have 4 different physical buttons over here. So again, if you are a hardcore gamer, you will appreciate it, because having physical buttons again takes your game to the next level. In fact, if you notice, I played Call of Duty on this mode, as you can see, and again, because of the physical buttons, my gaming experience, it was actually just too easy, I would say, to game, because you can map these physical buttons anywhere. So again, in terms of gaming experience, it was a very good experience on this smartphone. And now moving to the camera, again, this is not a camera centric smartphone, but it does have triple camera setup. The main camera is a 15 megapixel. It's a Sony IMX766. Next we have a 13 megapixel ultra wide, and then we have a 5 megapixel macro. Moving to the front camera, again, it's here on the bezel itself, so you don't have a punch hole or something. It's a 32 megapixel camera, but again, it does 4:1 pixel binning, so it shoots in 8 megapixel. And here are some of the camera sample shots that I have taken with this device, and I have to say the camera samples came out actually decent. I was not expecting that much from the camera performance, because this is sort of a gaming centric smartphone. But as you can see with the sample shots, the camera performance is pretty decent, as you can see. And here are some of the samples taken with the front facing camera. Shooting the video with the front-facing camera, though it's a 32 megapixel, it's actually doing pixel binning, so it's 8 megapixel. Hence, I noticed that the video recording maximum is capped to full HD, no 4K, but this is the sample, and the audio is also being recorded via the same. Now recording the video with the rear-facing camera, and I've set it to actually 4K. You can even go to 8K, but I don't think so that's practical. This is actually 4K, and as you can see, I'm just walking around. The grass is uneven, but at least in the preview it looks actually pretty stabilized. But you guys let me know, what do you feel about the video recording? Let's just go up and see how it handles abrupt lighting. Also, it's handling the dynamic range pretty well, as you can see. So guys, this is the ROG Phone 7. What do you guys feel about it? Apart from the regular specs, as I've told you, it's top-notch specs. What I noticed is that in the past 3 odd days of usage, the haptics on this are done beautifully. One of the best and the strongest. It's not just having the strongest haptics, but how it's calibrated. It's calibrated very well on this smartphone. Again, the built-in speaker, even without this one, is again one of the best. And in fact, it does also have a little bit of bass and depth towards it. Again, in terms of call quality, also the cellular call quality I was using with my Airtel SIM, the call quality was also very, very good on this smartphone. And apart from that, again, because of the massive 6000 milliamp hour battery, the battery life was also very, very good. So if you are a person who wants one of the most powerful Android smartphone, and also you do a lot of gaming, then I feel again this ROG Phone 7 might be one of the best gaming smartphone for this year. But what do you guys feel about this ROG Phone 7? Do let me know in the comment section below. Anyways guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care guys.